So in this video, I wanted to push things a bit and see how far I could take AI video. Here's a quick snippet of what I came up with. So what you just saw was generated entirely with AI. No timeline animation, no keyframes, no traditional editing. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how I built that sequence, step by step, including the prompts, the assets, and how everything connects together. And by the end, you'll be able to create something very similar yourself. The entire workflow was built using Seedance 2.0 inside Higgsfield, which is designed to handle more complex, multi-shot scenes like this. Now, to understand why this matters, it's worth looking at how this kind of sequence compares to what most AI video models have been able to do up until now. When scenes get more complex, multiple elements, camera movement, interactions, continuity between shots, things tend to break down. You'll often see morphing, inconsistent characters, or motion that just doesn't feel right. What stood out to me here is how well everything holds together across the full sequence. The motion stays consistent, the characters remain stable, and the scenes actually connect in a way that feels intentional. So rather than just generating isolated clips, you can start building sequences that feel like part of a larger story. By the way, you'll be able to watch the full short film at the end of this tutorial. Let's get into how this was actually made. So to get started, you'll need a Higgsfield account. There's a link below where you can try Seedance 2.0 yourself. They're currently offering unlimited generations for 7 days, with up to 70% off, so it's a good time to experiment with it properly. Now that you're set up, the first step is generating your characters. For me, Lily and Rob were already established, but if you're starting from scratch, this is where you'll build them out. A good place to begin is Soul Cinema. It works really well alongside Seedance 2.0 for creating cinematic characters and scenes. Head over to the Community tab to get some inspiration. You can recreate existing styles or generate your own from scratch. A simple prompt with the prompt enhancer turned on is usually enough to get strong results. It often pushes ideas further than you would on your own. Once you have a character you're happy with, the next step is to create a character sheet. I used Nano Banana Pro for this. The key here is consistency. You want multiple angles of the same character so the model understands how they look from different perspectives. The more coverage you give it, the more stable your results will be when you start generating scenes. Next, we need to build out the supporting assets for the scene. For this project, that included the spaceship, the interior, and the orb. The key here is treating these just like your characters. Anything that appears consistently in your scenes should have its own reference. For larger elements like the spaceship, create a full reference sheet, similar to your character sheets. For smaller elements, like the orb or environmental details, individual images will do the job. The goal is simple. Everything you plan to reuse should be clearly defined up front. This makes a big difference once you move into prompting, because you're not trying to recreate things from scratch every time. Once you have your characters and assets ready, you've essentially built the foundation for your entire sequence. Now we can move into the prompting. This is where everything comes together. Head over to Higgsfield, go to the Video tab, and select the Seedance 2.0 model. Before generating anything, upload your assets. This is going to save you a lot of time. Go to Upload Media, then into Elements, and add all of your assets here. Each one needs an element name, which is what you'll reference inside your prompts. When it comes to writing prompts, I usually generate mine using Claude, which was the most recommended chatbot to use by Higgsfield themselves, but you can use whichever one you are most familiar with. The important part is structuring your prompts so they include a list of elements at the start. That way, when the prompt runs, it automatically references your assets using the @ system. This means you don't need to re-upload or manually attach assets every time, which makes the workflow much faster. Higgsfield also provides prompt guides and Claude skill files that help structure prompts using real filmmaking techniques. It's worth using these, especially when you're building more complex scenes. I'll leave a link to those below. In this example, the prompt used 5 reference images, along with 2 additional frames. The first is the start frame, generated from the character sheet. The second is the end frame, which defines where the scene finishes. This is important for continuity, especially if you're chaining scenes together. Both of these were created using the same character and asset references to keep everything consistent. Before generating, set your parameters. Higgsfield has just introduced 1080p rendering, which is a huge win as we were only able to select 720p as the maximum resolution until very recently. Duration ranges from 4 to 15 seconds, and you can choose your aspect ratio here. If you're using start and end frames, the aspect ratio will automatically match those images. Now, one thing to expect here, you won't get the perfect result on the first try. Even with a strong prompt, you'll usually need a few attempts to get exactly what you're looking for. For example, this was one of my first outputs for the zero gravity transition.
Gravity field engaged.
Let's just say it didn't quite land. But using the exact same prompt again, just regenerating it, I was able to get a result that worked. That iteration process is completely normal. You're not always changing the prompt. Sometimes it's just about running it again and letting the model resolve things slightly differently. With solid prompts, you shouldn't need much editing. What I do is take the usable clips as I generate them and bring them straight into CapCut. From there, I start assembling the sequence and looking at how each scene connects to the next. I may even bring in multiple versions of the same clip and merge the parts I like with each other as long as they're different cuts. If I need to tighten continuity, I'll export a still frame from the end of a clip and use that as the starting point for the next scene. This helps everything flow more naturally, especially when you're trying to maintain consistent positioning between shots. For example, I had trouble recreating Lily with her faceplate open. So instead of forcing it through prompting, I took a still frame from a previous clip and used that as the start frame for the next scene. It's not a perfect match, but it works as a strong visual anchor and keeps the sequence consistent. Another area where Seedance 2.0 worked surprisingly well was motion graphics. This wasn't something I'd really seen people try, so I decided to test it myself. I started by creating a very simple design in Canva, just my logo and a subheading. Then I created a second frame using the Higgsfield Seedance branding. I set those as my start and end frames, and then used a prompt to generate the animation between the two. It builds the sequence for you, forming the logo, introducing text, and then transitioning cleanly into the final frame. What surprised me here is this actually worked on the first attempt, and the sound design came out spot on. So now with the end credits covered, I think it's time to look at the full composition.
What's that up ahead, Lily?
Gravity field engaged.
System reboot.
Time to get out of there, Rob.